Hey there, welcome back to The Empowered Edge, the podcast where we unlock your best self through optimal health, a resilient mindset, and lasting habits. I'm your host, Jenna Hostetler, and today we're tackling a topic I know a lot of people struggle with: how to not dread grocery shopping while also buying food that supports your health. If you have ever felt overwhelmed trying to figure out how to eat healthy without spending a fortune, or if you've walked into the grocery store without a plan, bought a cart full of food, and still had nothing to eat, you're not alone. Navigating the grocery store can feel like a minefield. There are endless options, conflicting advice, and sneaky marketing tactics designed to make you spend money on things that you don't need. But here's the good news. With a few simple strategies, you can save money, avoid overwhelm, and stock your kitchen with food that fuels your body. Today, we are breaking it all down. You'll learn how to shop smart, save money, and feel confident about your choices. So if you're ready to take control of your grocery budget and your health, this episode is for you. Let's dive in. Before we get into the strategies, let's take a step back and figure out where you are right now. If you frequently hear yourself saying that it's too expensive to eat healthy, it's time to ask yourself, is that really true? Do you genuinely not have the money to buy fresh produce and foods that aren't highly processed? Or is that something that you started to believe because it's a popular opinion that justifies why you don't eat healthy? The best way to find that answer is to follow the trail of your spending. Look back at your bank or credit card statements, and if possible, take a look at your grocery receipts. What do they show? You might think eating healthy is a priority, but if your statements reveal that most of your money is going towards fast food, takeout, snacks, or impulse buys, you'll quickly see why it feels like you can't afford to eat healthy. And just like any type of tracking, this is not about judgment, it's about awareness. Knowing where your money is going helps you take control. It allows you to make intentional decisions so that your spending supports your goals, and that might mean reallocating some of your takeout budget towards quality groceries or cutting back on one expense to free up more money for your health. But once you've seen where your money is going and made any adjustments, you have to ask yourself some bigger questions to identify your priorities in the first place. How important is it to you to eat in a way that prevents disease? How important is it to get off medications or to avoid them in the future? How important is it to teach your children what healthy eating looks like, sparing them from the struggle of health issues later on? And perhaps the most sobering question, how important is it to ensure that you are not just another statistic, one of the millions of Americans blindsided by the food and healthcare industries, unknowingly eating your way into an early grave, even if you're not overweight? Knowing your priorities and even your hierarchy of priorities within the health space is so important because you have a lot of options when it comes to eating healthy food. Organic, grass-fed, free-range, local, gluten-free, sugar-free, homemade, the list goes on. So where do these things fall on your priority list? Is your first concern eliminating added sugar, which means that you start making more things from scratch? Is your first concern reducing pesticides and herbicides, so you buy organic where you can and do a special produce wash on everything else? And that right there is a mindset shift in itself. Because if you want to buy organic, it doesn't mean that you have to buy everything organic or it's not worth it. Okay, none of this is an all or nothing thing. None of this is an all or nothing task. If you can't afford to buy everything organic, that doesn't mean that you can't afford to buy organic. It means you pick and choose what's most important to you. If you can't afford for your entire grocery budget to go towards perfect, paleo, everything is amazing food, then don't do it. But don't allow that excuse, that all or nothing mentality that our brain loves to use to let us not do things. Don't let that excuse of, I can't buy everything organic, so I might as well buy nothing organic. Don't let that stop you from making small shifts, because you might find that you love organic food, or you love grass-fed beef, or you love organic dairy. And if you like it enough, and if you see changes in your body, you'll prioritize how to get more of it, right? Because we always prioritize whatever matters most. Maybe right now, it feels like there's no difference between any of this. Why should you care? It's just more money. And that's okay, if that's where you are right now. But when you start making these small shifts, if you start seeing a difference in your body, if you feel better, if you have more energy, you better believe you're going to figure out how to get more of that. So start small with all of these things. So prioritizing is really important also for your brain because it eliminates decision fatigue, which means that we stop making decisions based on our emotions. When you know how much of your budget you're willing to spend on food, whether that's a dollar amount or a percentage, and when you know the priorities of where that budget is going, you have eliminated about 80% of the work that your brain has to do at the grocery store. Can you imagine, just for a minute, looking at 14 options of spaghetti sauce, taking 3 seconds to look at each one, know exactly which one you want, and just grabbing it and moving on? Like, talk about mental relief. This small step of simply recognizing your priorities can be eye-opening and incredibly empowering. It is the foundation of everything that we're about to talk about. Okay, let's get into the nitty-gritty. How to navigate the grocery store without breaking the bank. First, think about where you're shopping. What stores are in your area? Each store has its strengths, so it's worth learning what those are. For example, I love Aldi for affordable nuts and pantry staples, but I don't buy produce there because it's really not the best quality. Kroger has fantastic produce, and they often have great sales on meat. And then Costco or Sam's Club are unbeatable for bulk items. And then there are also a handful of things that I buy online through specialty stores like Paleo Valley, Agrodime, and Wild Grains. But the key is knowing which each store offers and planning your trip accordingly. If you have the time and the access, visiting multiple stores can save you money and ensure you're getting the best quality for your budget. And also don't think that you have to do all this in one day. You can go grocery shopping one day a week, and one day is a Costco run, one day is an Aldi run for your pantry staples, and one day a week you go to Kroger or wherever you live to buy your fresh produce and you stock up on your veggies. So it doesn't need to be a giant 1 day 5-hour excursion to do this. And then of course, if you have a storage space in your pantry or freezer, stocking up when things that you regularly eat are on sale. Things like the pasta sauces, the canned goods, the meat or the veggies that you can stick in the freezer. Avocados, berries, that kind of thing that can get pretty expensive. I buy like a ton of them when they're on sale fresh, then I just freeze them and stick them in the freezer. So there's lots of options there. But next is shopping the sales, like I was just talking about. And it can seem really obvious, but so many people do not pay attention to this, and they don't plan their week around what foods are on sale. Now this is where your priorities come in, because maybe you need to maximize your grocery budget, and it is worth it to spend an hour a week looking at the grocery sales and going to several stores so that you'll save a few $100s a month. But maybe saving time is more important for you than saving money, and the only way that you're going to eat healthy is if it's quick and easy regardless of price. Which means none of this really matters. You're going to go in, get what you need, whether it is expensive or not, because you're going to do what's convenient. Most people fall somewhere in between these two extremes. But once you decide where you're going to shop, let's talk about the most important strategy, having a plan. How many times have you wandered through the store without a list, bought a bunch of random items, and gotten home only to realize that you have nothing to make for dinner? It's super frustrating, and it's one of the quickest ways to overspend while sabotaging your healthy eating goals. So before you even step foot into the store, make a plan. Even if you can only take 10 minutes to plan out the next 24 hours, do it. Eventually you get to a place where you have variations of several recipes in your head, and you can make a plan as you're shopping and see what's available. But until you get to that point, make a plan and stick to it. Write down what meals you're shopping for and what ingredients you need. And then as you're writing your list, organize it by section: produce, dairy, pantries, etc., so that you can shop efficiently and get in and out. And here's a secret: stick to your list. I know everybody knows this, but not everybody does it. Do not let impulse buying derail you from your plan. I worked at a grocery store for a few years, okay? And they know exactly where to put the displays to get the most traffic. They know what to put together on those end caps so that you buy 4 products instead of 1. And they know what price point certain items in your town need to be so that you buy them. If you think those loyalty cards are to give you coupons, you are so wrong. It is to collect data so that they know your spending habits, because grocery stores are a billion-dollar industry. So if impulse buying is hard for you to control, get a little passive-aggressive, like I can sometimes, and tell yourself that you are not going to buy it because you know they want you to buy it, and you are smarter than them. So shopping with a mission, knowing exactly what you need and staying focused, turns grocery shopping from a stressful chore into a quick and efficient task. You're in, you're out, and you're on with your day, and you stay in control of what food enters your home. All right, here is your challenge for the week. Track your grocery spending for the next week. Save your receipts or look at your bank statements to see where your money is going. Decide what healthy food falls into your priorities. And then make a grocery list for your next trip. Include only what you need for the week, organized by section, and stick to it when you shop. Now, these 3 simple steps will give you clarity about your spending and will help you take control of your grocery shopping. If you're not sure where to start regarding your priorities for health, grab the Gut Brain Upgrade Blueprint in the show notes and allow that to guide you as you begin. Remember, you don't have to be perfect. You just have to start. Small, intentional changes will make a big impact over time. If you made it this far, give yourself a big old pat on the back. This is not one of the most exciting topics, but it's really important for hitting your goals. And oftentimes, it's the boring, everyday stuff that separates the winners from the wannabes, because the winners understand that it's the daily details that have you hitting your goals. So I hope you found this episode helpful, and even if it wasn't any new information, maybe it was a reminder you needed to get back to the basic principles of shopping smart and matching your priorities with your goals. So if you found this episode helpful, share it with a friend who's ready to eat healthier without breaking the bank. And don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and tune in for the next episode. Take action, stay empowered, and I'll see you next time.